everybody, I'm Janice Gunner. I'm here to demonstrate on the Q20 for you today. I've got one of these lovely beasts at home. It's just about to move from my studio to my house, so that's going to be fun. I love it. It's really, and it's such a nice machine to work with. It's got 2 BSRs, and this is to check your bobbin tension. And normally it's between 200 and 220, 250, something like that. And it's the same rule with the bobbins case. Left to loose and right. Lefty loosey, righty tighty, as they say. Okay. All right, so let's just do a little quick test bit. I've actually got the ruler foot on here at the moment because I'm going to do a little bit of work with the ruler. So we'll do a lock stitch, and off we go. It's nice and smooth. And there's the other side. That was it before. And now I've got the tension right. Do you see? You still have to be careful that you don't go too fast so you don't get eyelashing. Okay. Right, so where's my ruler gone? Here's my ruler. I've only got to grips with this one so far, so you're not going to see lots of fancy stuff with curves from me, I'm afraid. But let's show you what it can do. In fact, let's pass this round for you. I've divided this piece, this bit of this quilting off with the ruler, okay? And then I've done some free machine stitching in the areas. So if you want to pass that round and have a look. And what I've done is I've written on the corners what thread I've used, what the tension is, and played around with lots of different and different colours on it, as well as plain threads. I've used some variegated threads to give you an idea of what they look like as well. Okay. So let's take this piece here. Get this under my machine, and you've got these nice pull-outs and tops that fit on the shelves as well. Okay. I've got a different table to this one at home. Oh no, it is an RMF. Yeah, it is an RMF, isn't it? Yeah. I've got the same table, and I love it because it's electronically controlled. It goes up and down. Okay. So when you're using the ruler, you've got a guide in here. Put that behind the foot, so that when you and I've got little grippy bits on the bottom here to stop it from sliding around as I stitch. So we'll come over here. We'll divide this up like I did the other one. Put the ruler on and start off. And stop with the needle down in the fabric, and then slide the ruler while you've still got some of it left. Don't get right to the end because it's harder to keep it straight. There we go. Right, and I always offshoot. I always overshoot. So I start out in the wadding and I come out further in the wadding as well. That means that when I want to tidy it up later on, I haven't got loads of ends to fiddle around. They're all at this. They're all in this area. Anyway, we'll lift this up and cut it off, and then we'll do the other one the other way. And because it's got the BSR, your stitches are always all the same length. And you can actually play around with the stitch length on here. I like to work at about 200 speed, which is quite low for this machine actually. But I like to be in control. All right. And my stitches per inch here, it'll set itself to 10 per inch. But I like to take it down to 12 because I think it looks nicer. Okay? It's just personal preference, really. This up. And off we go. You just have to remember as you're doing this not to end up here. You know, stop and bring your hands back. Especially when you're short like me. But what's nice is all this space that you've got around you. You know, I mean, yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to leave the ruler foot on when I do the free motion stuff. You can put different feet on, but it may as well stay there for now. So there we are. I've done some straight lines that way, and I'm just going to section it off the other way. And this is the tacking stitch that it does. Okay. You just set it to BSR 3, and go across, and I go from side to side when I do that, and it will just tack as you're doing it, so you don't need to mess around. I have to say, to save time with these pieces that I'm demonstrating with today, I've used 505 spray on them. But if you've got a bigger piece, you can't physically manhandle big pieces of work, can you? There we go. So what it does is it's stitching about 1/4 of an inch from the edge. So you can see the indent on the ruler, and the foot itself is higher, so that the foot doesn't jump over the ruler as you're working. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thought that was somebody wanting to ask me a question then. Oh, no, you're telling me lies. It's all right. It's telling me that the thread's broken, but actually it hasn't. I just pushed it too fast. Okay. There is an alarm that's set on these as well, that if you stitch too fast it beeps at you and tells you off. Okay. Oh, it's got a brain, yes, definitely. Right, we're nearly there, and then we're going to do some fancy stuff. Has everybody seen that? Would you like to carry on passing it around, please? And you can write. There we are, there's some writing on that one. But you have to do joined up writing. And obviously if you're doing sort of in the ditch work, the rulers are ideal. I don't like in the ditch, it's not my thing. But you've got this accuracy. Yeah. Right, okay. I'll just very quickly show you with the angle as well. So if I wanted to stitch at an angle, I've got that edge that I can use. So if you've got half square triangles and stuff like that. But again, don't go right to the end. Just keep bringing it towards you. You might find it's easier to work backwards, going away from you. With these machines, it doesn't really matter. You can go in either direction. I prefer to see where I'm going. There we are. Okay. So now I've got a line across the middle. It's not dead accurate, but it's not bad. And this one's also got a curve. With these, are you doing a deal on rulers with these machines at the moment, or what sort of deal are you doing so these good people know?
rulers.
It's coming with the rollers, right? So you get more than this. This isn't the only ruler you get with your whole set of rulers. You've got some that do wavy lines and some that do curves and ovals and stuff like that, okay? I'll just go around this little curve for you so you can do a scallop. There we are, nice neat scallop. Pass that round and have a quick look. All right. This is the sticky stuff you can get to put on the bottom. You buy it and cut it to size, and I cut it so that it doesn't obscure any of the lines on the ruler. I get this from Quilt. Do you sell this, or no? Quilt Direct are the people that sell this. Okay. Anybody over here want to see? Oh, what are you doing here?
Just checking up on you, dear.
Would you like to see? There you go. Have you seen this one as well?
Yes.
You've seen that one, right? Okay.
900. Yeah, you remember the 900? Yeah.
Does it pass inspection?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, we're back again.
You got the pricing, John?
The one we're writing, it's around here somewhere. Where's the one we're writing on, ladies? It's just coming around this way. There we are. Okay. Right, so some of the designs I like to do on my work are things like circles and spirals. And when I'm starting off, I'll usually start off on a junction somewhere so that I can hide where I've started. Okay, so I'm down here and I'm
I'd rather be able to have that.
doing a lock stitch. That's it. And then off we go. Come on, come on. Let's just have a play. Get it back into its mode. I'm out of practice, that's what it is. I've had a few days away from my machine and I'm out of practice. Terrible, isn't it? All right, we're in. We're on. Let's get down here. It might have been that the bobbin wasn't quite in properly. Because somebody else has sorted it out for me. I don't know. I would have sussed it out eventually. Yeah. So if you were doing a miniature quilt, you could take your stitch length right the way down. So, or rather, what you do is you make more stitches per inch. So if I went up to something like 15, the stitches would be much smaller. Can you see already? So if you were doing very fine work and wanted to do little patterns, I'm doing quite a big pattern with this at the moment, but if I wanted to do smaller things, I would take the stitch length up much higher. And I like to move the machine quite slowly when I'm doing things like that. So sometimes it looks as though it's actually going to stop. With machine quilting, it's just practice. The more you do, the better you get. Okay, it's a bit like learning to play a piano. To be quite honest with you, practice a bit each day, and you get better and better. Okay. Have you got one of these at home? No. Do you machine quilt? No. You're just watching for the sake of watching, are you? How many of you do machine quilt? Yes? Yeah? It is just practice.
Yeah, well, an ordinary Bernina sewing machine, you can quilt on it.
Oh yes, yeah. This machine is set to go, obviously, to go a lot faster. I've got it quite slow at the moment, so
I would be slow as well.
so let's put it up to what it defaults to 260.
Right.
Okay, so let's take it down to what it defaults to, right? Which is 10 here and 260 here. And if it's like anything. If you push the work fast, the machine is going to work. It's going to run faster.
Yeah.
But you then got to be concerned about your stitches.
Yeah.
Here, because it's got two BSRs under here, there's two little laser lights under here.
Yeah.
The stitches will always be the same size. If I was doing this on my ordinary machine without the BSR and going very fast, my stitches would become very big. Whereas here, they're all the same size. That's what's nice about these machines. Just sit down and have a little practice. Just fiddle.
Yeah.
This one here, I've got lots of different
Yeah.
things on it. I'm kind of doing a variation on this at the moment, but you can do the circles and you can do this. I mean, if you want, choose a pattern and I'll do it for you. Which one would you? That one? The pebbles. I kind of almost go in a figure of 8. Do you see? And I'm always looking at where I'm going next. That's the thing to remember, is where you're going to go next, so you don't get yourself into a corner. And sometimes you have to go round the same line twice.
So that's not the easiest because you've got very similar coloured.
I have, yeah, that's right. Yeah, especially here, it's the same colour as the fabric that I'm using. When you've got a higher contrast, it's easier to. However, when you've got a higher contrast, you've got to be even more careful because all the little errors show up. All right, so it's horses for courses, really. Let's do this one here. All right, so we've got the shell. There's two different ways of doing this. You can go round and round like this, expanding it and making it bigger. Or you can go from side to side, like that. It's entirely up to you. I actually prefer doing it one, and then another one, and then another one after that, rather than going backwards and forwards. But sometimes my mind wanders, and I will do the other version. You know what it's like. So 1, 2, 3. So down at the bottom end here, I've got like 3 lots of stitching on top of one another, and what I'm trying to do is to keep them all in the same place. Sometimes they misfire a little bit and they're slightly off, but you know. And then I'm looking for a gap to start my next shell. Here and here, and sometimes they'll be big and sometimes they'll be small. It just, you know, you just sort of fit them in. And you can do them more elongated. You could do them heart-shaped if you wanted to as well. Okay?
Is that variegated?
It is. It's a very subtle variegation. Do you see? Yes, it's barely variegated. Yeah. Okay.
Excuse me standing so close.
No, you carry on. I'm just moving over here a bit. All right. Let's have another. Like this one here is quite easy to do. Yeah, because
Well,
it's.
you say that. No.
Well, it's looping the loop. It's taking the line for a walk. It's just doing this.
Ah, right, that's
You see, and occasionally I might come round. Okay, thank you. I might come round and go in a different direction.
yeah.
And I'm doing these quite big so that you can see what I'm doing.
Yes.
But you can, by the same measure, you can do them much smaller and much finer.
Yeah.
So although I called my demonstration rulers and fine lines, I need to do them a little bit bigger so that you can see them as a demonstration.
yes.
All right, but I've done these really, really tiny as fillers
Yeah.
and stuff like that. It's just a bit more interesting than doing vermicelli, which
Yes.
is the squiggly
Yeah.
in and out job.
Yes,
Okay.
I like doing those.
Yeah.
I like doing the squares as well, I must admit.
Yes. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
those.
Yeah. And this one here is done by
Yes, I've done
zigzagging.
those, yes. Just backwards and forwards, yes.
But when you get to the ends, just do a couple of stitches on the spot,
Yeah.
all right? Because it helps to keep the point pointy. Otherwise, it rounds it off.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, I like that pattern. Yes. And this is quite a compact machine, isn't it?
It is.
That's the
Yes.
thing I quite like about
Yeah.
this. Instead of taking up a huge space,
Yes. Yeah.
you don't need to have a garage for it.
No. No, I've got a friend who's got one in her bedroom, and my one will go in the bedroom when I take it home. At the moment, it's in a studio, but it's on a table same size as this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the zigzag. Okay, and then I'm just changing direction and making squares out of the zigzags.
Yeah.
They're not accurate squares, but then it doesn't have to be. And actually, one of the prize-winning quilts, I think it's the art quilt, the long green one.
Yes.
If you look at it, she's got some of this quilting on it.
Yes. I just think it looks nice like that, rather than exactly precise. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we are. Okay.
It's wonderful.
And I would build that. Obviously, you know, if I was doing that in an area on a quilt, I would build that up and make that fill that area.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any requests, ladies? No.
Do you do some writing, Janice?
Oh, I'm yeah. Of course, I'll do some writing. Yes. So you do have to be a little bit slower, and you need to do joined up writing rather than capitals. Otherwise, you've got to keep breaking off and
Yes.
breaking your thread.
I don't want to be doing that.
No. Did you know that your name spells the same forwards as backwards?
Yes, I did.
I've just written it here, Hannah. Okay, and that little quilt that's there has got. I'm doing an MA in textiles at the moment, and I like edges, and it's got the words on the edge, and they repeat all the way round there, and then all the way round on the next round, and all the way round on the next round until they get into the middle. So we'll do that. Those three
And
words.
Do you use this? Is this one of your the machines that you would use?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's been quilted. This and this have both been quilted on this
On that
this
machine.
machine. Yeah, I'm just going to take the stitch length up a little bit and the speed down because I like a little bit more control when I'm doing words.
letters, yes.
Yeah, okay. So we'll do on, which is the O, and it's like your handwriting, really.
Yes. Do you find if you haven't used it for a while, you've got to just do it?
Oh yeah, I do it. I always have I always have a little practice quilt sandwich, and I practice. That's actually the practice piece for another quilt. Okay. Yeah. You just got to remember that you've got to write. You've got to think slightly differently because with I's and T's, like crossing your I's and dotting your T's, the other way round. I need to do that bit and then go on to the H.
Yes.
So I need to think. You need to get your brain thinking in a slightly different.
Slightly forward.
Slightly forward, yeah. And
But if you set your speed slower and
well, set my speed
gives you
slower.
that chance, doesn't it?
Gives me the chance to do it. And after I've been doing it for a while, because I haven't machine quilted for a few days since I've been here. By the time I actually got these down quite quick.
Yes.
I could speed up a bit.
Yes.
But I need to get myself into the zone.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
yeah.
Shall I go and get you a glass of wine?
Glass of wine helps. Relaxes you. All right, so we turn it round, and you can turn it round with the needle still in the fabric. That's what's nice about it. And I haven't got the plates on my drawers yet, like they've got here. This is a fitment that you can have that you put on the drawer, so it supports the quilt. What I've just been doing is opening my drawers, leaving them wide open. Yeah. So here's me O.
And do you enjoy doing this? I mean,
I love it.
It looks quite therapeutic.
It is very therapeutic. I lose myself when I'm doing this. I should really have something reading my mind as I'm doing it and taking down the notes, because I have all these ideas for different pieces of work and they're all going on through my mind, but of course I can't write them down because I'm busy concentrating on the sewing. So let's turn the corner again. Here we go. So sometimes your writing needs to go backwards, sometimes it goes forwards.
Yeah.
But joined up writing's easier when you're doing it like this than doing it.
If you just do letters, you've got to stop and
Yes.
just down and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
across.
And if I want to do letters like that, I use my other machine because that will do them for me. Yeah, I just program them in.
Yeah.
Now here I've run out of space.
Oh dear.
Do you see? So
But you wouldn't normally, you know.
no. Well, I have to think to myself: do I want to carry on and finish that word off on the next line, or do I think I'll blow it? I'll just carry on and write on the edge. You know? Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to go back and write and write.
In advance, and you can see how
Yes.
you can actually space your letters if you think you.
Exactly, and obviously you can gauge the size of the letters that you do as well. If you want to do it much smaller and much tighter,
That's what you've done here, isn't it?
that's what I've done there. I've just gone round and round and round until I've got to the middle,
Yeah.
and I've done the last word in the middle and stopped and then gone on to the next block. But that's only one way of doing it. I mean, and that's because the design underneath started out originally like that. I played around on my iPad with it, and I've obliterated the letters. You can't see the letters there anymore at all.
No, you can't.
All right, but I've put them back in by using my stitch. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And I could go even smaller with my stitch length, really, when I'm doing writing, to make it stand out a bit more.
Yeah.
But I quite like this sort of length, really.
So what is sort of like the smallest stitch length you can do in that?
Ooh.
Very tiny? Must
Well,
be.
you just keep pressing this, really. You go up, and it'll do so many stitches per inch. So if I go to 20.
Oh gosh, yes. Oh, you can hear the difference in the machine.
Can you hear? It's changed, hasn't it? Yes, yeah. And if I was doing a miniature quilt, because with a miniature quilt they're supposed to be 1/12 size, you have to think about the size of your quilting stitches on that piece as well. So if I was going down to this size, I'd take the speed of the sewing machine down as well.
Yeah.
So it wasn't running away with me.
Yeah, yeah, so
And
that
then
chances.
you're getting the right length of stitch in proportion to the size of the piece that you're working. So I could go even bigger. I mean, I could reduce it here. If I come down to 7 or 6 stitches per inch, if I come out here, you'll be able to see how big they are. Do you see?
Yes.
All right. So if you wanted an effect where you've got really big stitches,
Yeah.
supposing you just wanted to outline a shape or something like that, then you can. And again, you can take the speed up. I mean, I could go up to. It was on about 500 just now. Let's take it up to what they've got it on this thingy here.
But that's manageable, isn't it?
Yeah, but you see, because I've only got 6 stitches to the inch, it's not going very fast.
No.
It's very clever. It's sort of
It is clever, isn't it?
thinking to itself, well, they're only 6 stitches to the inch. Why would I want to go at 490 stitches
No.
or the speed of 490? But if I take it up to 15 or 16,
Oh,
it's telling me I'm going too fast.
fast.
Did you see it flash
yes.
red? Okay.
Yes.
I've gone too fast, basically, so that's too. Let's take it down
That's
a little
very,
bit.
very clever.
But it's very intuitive.
Yes.
You see, if I wanted to do some really tight little vermicelli, You see.
Yeah. It seems to be quite a joy to work.
It is. It's a lovely machine to work with. I love mine. Yeah, I really do.